to your car for what?
This charger, because I brought both my phones so I can. Oh wait, I might be able to use that over there. So I can log in from this phone and from one of my Twitches, and then log in on this phone on my other Twitch.
One, two, three, four.
5, 6, 7, 8.
We're live right now, by the way.
Oh, are we? Hey,
Yes, sir.
that works.
Yes, sir. So don't say anything that can incriminate you.
Never that, man. Never that, man.
Did you see that?
I mean, I'm a little worried that someone's going to come back on me from 4th grade when I cut in line to get a water fountain and accidentally bump their hip or something, maybe. No, I'm just playing.
You should be worried.
Just playing. It's a serious issue.
Cutting in line?
Huh? Oh, no, I'm just being facetious. Being an ass.
Damn commercials.
I know, commercials are a motherfucker. Hello, am I getting married? Do I need to change photos? What do you think?
Stupid commercials. I get it. It's got to pay bills, right?
You gotta pay bills.
Too bad we don't get the revenue for that. You know one thing I haven't done yet? Pretzel.
Really? Yes.
Because I had to read.
Yes, that's right.
Read.
I always forget the name of that damn thing.
Pretzel rocks.
What is I can do?
JD is live, and he said, Duane is a little hotter than you, Biggz. I heard that for a second, so I tried to adjust it. Hopefully it's even now.
Hopefully.
The feed I'm watching is way behind because of the stupid commercial. It's a little better.
Since you There we go. Now let me go to my Twitch. Like a crackhead. Live right now. Bam. Fucking commercials. Let me turn it down.
JD, what are you doing? What's happening?
What's happening? There we go. Turn this down. There we go.
Loving Duane's blue backdrop. I mean, I got to do something. I'm going to clean up that area later. I just wanted to get a test run. I've got trusses and stuff to put up a backdrop, or we just hang something on the light rack and
Yeah.
Push the light rack back a little bit.
That's all there is. That's all that's needed.
Just get a tapestry.
Let's see. Well, it's super weird.
Damn, bro.
Huh?
He said he's chilling with the son at the house. His shoulder's still effed up.
No, that's no bueno.
Yeah, that's not good.
Let's see. Oh, I'll put this right here. There we go. I wonder why it's fuzzy on this one and not fuzzy on that one. Huh. Oh, I know why. I know why. Bam, that's why.
Yeah, pretzel came in kind of hot.
Pretzel came in hella hot.
JD's really he's just trying to dig out some political shit right away.
Oh boy.
What's up with all the posts today about kids and Save the Children? There's a I mean, I don't want to say it's conspiracy theory because there's a lot of truth behind it, but
is he messaging on Twitch right now?
Yeah.
Oh, I see it. I see it now.
Yeah. Let me turn my phone down. So ever since the Epstein deal, you got to watch the Epstein thing on Netflix. It'll open up your mind to a lot of insight on what's going on with that whole thing. But now a lot of Trumpians
a lot of
are
people
like,
are fucking involved, dude.
you know what? I don't know if it's as many people as like people are saying now.
I don't know if it's as many people as who the people are. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, it's pretty powerful, influential people. And the shit's scary. It's disgusting, though.
I've seen so many memes with like Trump carrying kids and like Trump is the baby saver and saving the babies. Trump and Epstein were real close. And then when Epstein went to jail, when he went to prison, a lot of people were saying that Trump was going to pardon him. That was kind of the expectation.
Right.
And then Epstein, obviously, he ended up dead, supposedly by suicide. We know it wasn't
Well, he killed
suicide.
himself.
He didn't kill himself.
I know.
Ain't no way he killed himself.
I know.
Waldo, what up, man? But then his assistant ends up going to prison a few weeks ago.
I'm surprised she's still alive, bro. To be honest,
I'm surprised she's still alive too. But
but they won't let her get bail. Though.
Trump was giving her all these well wishes and all of this, hold your head up type shit.
Yeah, hold your head up so when they break your neck, it's a lot easier.
She was basically the madame in that whole situation. So she was just as guilty of everything as Epstein was.
Yeah, she knows.
And
she knows
and
stuff,
Trump's
bro.
out there giving her a pat on the back. Hold your head up. Everything's gonna be okay.
Right.
People,
she knew what
was
going on.
Quit giving this guy credit for trying to save the children.
Yeah,
he's not the
exactly.
one trying to save them.
Right.
And I haven't been paying attention like I usually would because
Right.
everything else going on in my life. But I want to. I want to start doing some research because I want to see. A lot of people are saying that Bill Gates is involved in this. Tom Hanks is involved in this.
Oprah.
Yeah. Now Oprah. Yeah.
It's like high-powered, influential people for some reason. I don't understand, but
So you've seen that list that keeps getting floating around, right?
Yeah.
On that list, there's not a single Republican.
Well, I don't know who's Republican, who's not. So, but that's crazy. That's crazy. I mean,
it kind of tells you who's trying to paint
Right.
the picture and what they're trying to paint.
Oh, for sure. You know what's crazy to me is as wrong as sex trafficking is, underage sex trafficking, doesn't matter what age. Why that? Out of all the things that multi-billionaires, the 1% of the 1%, out of all they have access to, why that? Why that?
The sexual deviancy?
Yeah, like I don't understand. They can do anything on this fucking planet, anything on this planet, but yet let's mess with underage kids. Let's kidnap kids and people and sell them to other people for sex slavery or whatever they're using them for. Like, out of all the things that they could do in this world, that is what they choose to do with their power. Like, I don't get it. I just don't get it.
Hang on, I will address that in just a moment.
Corrupt says, this is why I'm so scared to raise my son and have him in public nowadays. You can't trust anyone anymore. It's crazy.
True.
It's very, very true. It's very, very true. And it doesn't get easier as your kids get older. My youngest is 19, and I'd like to think that he has a pretty smart head on his shoulders. He does. He sees different perspectives, and I'm his dad, so he's definitely a little nutty. Because I'm a little nutty, but I couldn't imagine my son being 13, 14, 15, come up missing one day.
Yeah.
Don't know where he is.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you get some letter in the mail or some mysterious package that says some bullshit. Like,
or you just don't get anything at
or
all.
you don't- yeah,
Look
or
at,
you
like
don't
the
get
Kyron
anything.
Horman.
Yeah.
There's obviously
just unsolved.
There's some weird stuff going on behind that too, but
Yeah.
somebody knows what's going on. Somebody
knows
doesn't.
something.
Imagine
Somebody-
being that parent that doesn't know. You never
Couldn't.
have that closure.
That's a nightmare.
That
man.
would drive me bonkers. Like, I see what my parents go through.
That's a nightmare.
Knowing what happened to my sister 16 years ago, and even today, I still see the tragedy that lies within their heart, and the fact that there's certain aspects of life they will never overcome. There's certain aspects of life I will never overcome.
Right.
I couldn't imagine not even getting closure.
Closure is a thing that, like in psychology, it's almost like when you walk out of a house or you walk out of wherever and you leave the door open. And I don't mean that like in a literal sense. It's like you do leave the door open. There is no closure. There is no answers. It's a very empty feeling after a while where you're just like, I don't know. And so after so long, let's say your kid's missing for a year, right? Now, leading up to a year of your child not being found. What's up, Nolan? Given a year of your child
Nolan.
not being found, psychologically, I couldn't imagine. Like if any of my kids, but my youngest, even my oldest, shit, if they went missing, they're grown now, but I can't put myself in that position because it's a nightmare for a parent.
Right.
It's a nightmare for a parent or a godparent or an uncle or whoever. But like I said, out of all the things that multi-billionaires have access to,
right, why that?
And can do, why that though?
Here's the thing, man. This whole child thing goes back so much further than modern day society.
Oh yeah,
for
sure.
If you study like historically, way before America. Look at how like the Romans and Greeks, and those societies. You go back to ancient Egypt. A girl, as soon as she was bleeding, she was sold by her family to be a wife.
That's just crazy. Though.
It is crazy to us because of the progress in our head, because of the way that we are developing as a culture. It is crazy to us.
So do you think some of this stems from like arranged marriages and shit like that?
I really think that there's
a lot of Middle Eastern cultures that do that.
Absolutely, they still do.
Yeah, for sure.
I think. This is all speculation. I'm not a sexual psychologist by any means.
Right.
If I had to guess, I would pinpoint it to men of power wanting to be like kings, and kings of ancient civilizations had multiple wives. They were all young as shit.
Right.
Barely, in today's world, they wouldn't even be old enough to drive.
Right.
And it's almost like Trump and Epstein and people of power, people of wealth, people of money, they see themselves as a pharaoh or as a Greek god.
Right.
That ultimate power. Once you get to a certain point, too, and if you have that much money, you end up buying everything that you want. But what happens when you buy everything you want? Like,
You get bored after a while, man.
right. I've been going through a midlife crisis for years because when I was young, I dreamt of DJing on big stages and going on tour buses and traveling around and living the rock star musician lifestyle.
Right.
And I did all that well before I was 40 years old.
Right.
So now that I've chased all my dreams, I've accomplished the dreams that I used to dream of, I have to try to develop more. And when you try to develop more in the world that we're in, heading towards the middle of your life, it's hard. It is so hard to start over and be like, well, I've done everything in the world I want to do. What do I do now?
Right.
And now I'm in love with a woman that wants to travel the world. She wants to explore. She wants to
Right.
live life because she had kids at such a young age that she wasn't able to. And I'm at the point where I'm ready to just get a day job.
You're like, I'm
forget
trying
the
to
music
chill.
industry. Let me just take care of my wife, my kids, and
Yep.
hang out. So we're at a crossroads now because of it.
Right.
But I can't imagine having everything I want, getting bored enough to want to compare myself to like the gods of civilizations and generations before us.
Right.
Ultimate power is being able to do what people tell you you can't do.
Right. Right.
So I think that a lot of that has to do with that too. The deviancy.
Yeah, defiant. Yeah, very much so. Nolan says, found out my son ran away from his dad when he was 2 in Kalama. Not very many places to run from in Kalama.
Although a kid runs away and gets lost, you end up in a river. That's scary.
That's scary. That shit made me so mad. My kid could have been dead. Very, very true. Especially in a small town like Kalama, where it seems like everybody knows everybody. But there's a lot of secrecy in small towns, man.
Well, not only that, not everybody is always paying attention to everything either.
Exactly.
You don't. It's not that heavy populated.
Right.
So if you see a kid walking down the street, you could snatch that kid, and maybe nobody saw it. Nobody, because nobody was just happened to be at that place at that time.
Yep.
Around here, it's a lot tougher because there's people out and about on every street corner, every block, 24 hours a day.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
That small town stuff
small towns are rough, and the thing about like big cities and things like that, there's so much going on. The person getting snatched up is like it slips through the cracks because there's so much going on. In small towns, when someone hears, hey, Mr. Sampson's kid got taken or whatever, and you're like, what? It's a little more impactful, I think, in a smaller town because of the simple fact that everybody does know everybody, and it's supposed to be like a community,
Right.
He lived next to a busy road that led to I-5. Yeah, that's at 2 years old. I-5 isn't exactly the best playground.
Right.
But let me see. So I gotta answer this. Let's see. Oh yeah, there we go. Yes. Put that on silent. There we go. Oh damn. But no, I think and they have these eyes wide shut parties and these fucking parties on islands that like they wear animal masks and there's no
that stuff goes way
there's no wallet.
That's civilization's way beyond too.
Yeah, for sure. And there's no cell phones allowed. There's nothing allowed. No ID, no nothing.
Isn't that the premise behind Epstein's Island?
Oh yeah, for sure.
A lot of the stuff that was there.
Right. When people would go there, they would go there to get away.
Yeah.
Right. They would go there to where you can literally do anything.
You do whatever you want. There's no police involved.
And I'd be hard pressed to even. I would think that even murder's been done on that island. I bet some people that have disappeared that like fly under the radar that we don't know about. I bet you people have disappeared on that island.
Right? Or how many of these missing persons cases end up they're missing and then nobody's ever going to see them again
Especially if they know something. They might not know it all, but they know something that would make somebody be like, "Oh, well, let me look into this."
Or they're just convinced, a young, vulnerable, attractive woman is convinced, you know what, I'm gonna make you rich. You just need to come out and work on my island for a few years. Goes out there, and then somebody has this sexual fantasy, a rape fantasy, murder fantasy. She's gone.
Yeah.
Never gonna see her again.
Yeah. Epstein, I was watching a little bit. I think it was Epstein. I was watching a little bit on Netflix, that special or whatever, and he would have that secretary lady go recruit these young girls.
That's the lady that just got put in prison.
Yeah, from like high schools and shit.
Right.
And then she would bring them over and would be like, Mr. Epstein would like a massage. And then he would get high school girls to go recruit other high school girls and be like, yo, this guy's going to pay us $200 to give him a massage.
Yeah.
And then they get in there and he's lying on the thing, lying on the table. And then he takes his robe off and he's butt naked and he starts stroking it while these girls are there. And it's like they're so young that they don't know what to do.
Right.
It's one of the reasons why.
Or they get into the room and instead of $200, now there's $1,000.
Yeah.
And they want the money so bad that they're like, okay, it's just one time.
Or if they get scared, they don't know what to do because that's an adult and
Yeah.
you're 15, 16. You don't have the wherewithal, right? And it gets. I saw one where it got so bad where one high school girl who got recruited, she was his sex slave for 3 years, recruiting other girls at her high school, and she got this one girl, and they were talking to her because they're actual Epstein survivors or what they call them or whatever, and they were talking to her, and she said that her friend came to her one day at school and says, hey, if you want to make a little money, I know this old dude who likes massages. So this girl's telling the story how she went over there, and her friend left her in the room when it started getting kind of weird. Her friend left, and she was like, why are you leaving me here? And then Epstein was like, started doing things, and she was uncomfortable, but she didn't. She was around an adult. She didn't know what to do. She didn't know if she said no, she didn't want to do this. She didn't know if she was going to get hurt or whatever. So she just went along with it. And she stayed that way for a fucking year, man. Recruiting other girls. And then they showed like a, not a pie chart, but they showed like a design where Epstein was in the middle. And then it had like a line, then a circle. And then out of that circle had different lines of the people they recruited.
The branch.
And then, the branch. That's the word I'm looking for. And it just, dude, it got so fucking huge, man. Like thousands upon thousands. And that's just people that they know of, right? And so.
Yeah, those rabbit holes go pretty deep.
Fucking super deep. I'm talking Alice in Wonderland couldn't get that deep.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so it's, it blows me away because, like I said, out of all the shit you can do in this world, you have access to literally everything.
Right.
You're the 1% of the 1% in this world, and you choose to go the sexual route when you can get whatever it is that you want anyway. You can get that anyway. Why? Man. And then those girls that they interview that are Epstein survivors or whatever, they're fucked for life, man. There's irreversible shit that happens in their brain. Like, they have the conscious wherewithal to know what happened, but the psychological damage is done. It's crazy. Their relationships after that, they're so defensive, lack of trust.
Right.
And sometimes they feel like it was their fault. So then they fall into that category of women that just are all sexual all the time because that's what they feel like that's all my worth is.
Right.
And that's what fucks me up, man. I mean, all of it's fucked up, don't get me wrong, but what's really messed up is the psychological damage that happens to these females because they start thinking it's their fault. Well, if I didn't go with my friend to this place, then it wouldn't have happened and blah, blah, blah. Not knowing that it's not your fault. This dude's a fucking creep, man. This guy's a creep. It's not your fault. You're 15. You're 16. You know, it's like, I just don't get it, man. I just, and granted, I'm not obviously not in that tax bracket, but I would have to think that if I was a multi-billionaire, if I was a multi-billionaire, I would definitely find something other than sex trafficking to get into, bro. Like, and I don't want to laugh at it because it's serious, but at the same time, it's like, what is it that possesses somebody to wake up and have the wherewithal to be like, I'm going to tell my secretary to go find me some new pieces of ass.
Right.
And I want those pieces of ass to be under the age of 18. And it's like you're making a conscious decision to specifically write down the type of females that you want. And it's like that tells me that you're not psycho, you're not anything. You have a fucking issue, underlining issue that never got dealt with when you were younger.
Right.
And it manifests itself because money just makes you more of what you already are. And so, like, I don't believe money's the root of all evil. It's not. Because there's plenty of multimillionaires.
No, it's people. It's what you do
right.
with the money.
There's plenty of multimillionaires that are just fine, that you'll never hear about. They're fine. They're good. They're living life, whatever. Money just makes you more of what you already are. That's what I truly believe. And so it's like these athletes, right? Most of these athletes that make it to the NFL or make it to the NBA or make it to the MLB or whatever profession, soccer, whatever, their whole life they were told that they were the best. They were,
People play soccer still?
Not me.
Not me.
Not me at all. But in any professional sport, a lot of these guys that are super, super cocky, they're cocky because they were told that they were great since birth.
Right.
And so, they trained and they have athletic skill to justify what they're being told. So by the time they get to the pros, and this is why these guys want a $100 million contract versus a $90 million contract.
Right.
And it's like, bro, I remember when you started playing this game for fucking free, running down the roadway or the alleyway, running into cars that are parked because that was the end zone, or running into telephone poles or whatever. It's weird, man. It's a weird thing that this construct that we have, which is money, holds so much value.
Yeah.
Holds so much value. We went from trading like chicken eggs for a gallon of milk to
For a bucket of milk.
Or for a bucket of milk, yeah. To, people wanting to run for mayor. Listen, if you vote for me, I'll let your shop.
I'm not going to give you the egg. I'm going to give you the chicken.
Yeah. If you vote for me, I'm gonna allow your shop to stay open, and I'm gonna donate to your shop if you vote for me. And it's like that kind of shit right there irritates the fuck out of me, and it just manifests to where we have it now, to where I love our country. Don't get me wrong. I love our country, and bro, I'm not a political person. I'm getting a little bit better. I'm researching a little bit more, but
and I'm proud of you for that. Kudos.
Because I feel that education has got to be number one to beat shit like this, man.
I agree. Well, 2 years ago, you were like, I don't need to. I feel like I don't need to vote because my vote doesn't matter.
Right. And I'm taking not precautions, but I'm taking steps now to make it to where I can vote. Because legally I can't vote right now. So
you had a felony?
Oh yeah. But when I was 18 though.
Right.
Like I'm 42.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And people don't realize you can get your voting rights back.
Yeah. And they just don't want to try. And I was one of those people too. I can sit here and be honest and be like, voting doesn't matter. And a lot of my friends I talked to, they felt the same way, like voting doesn't matter, until I researched not just president, vice president, but the people under them, like the Secretary of States and what they do, and the underlining people that we can vote every 2 years.
Senators.
Yeah, but we can vote every 2 years, not 4 years on those.
Right.
We can vote every 2 years on those. And what I think, doing my own research, is if we can change that, then
right.
The presidency they have nowhere to go but to change. We have to change the people that are under them.
Right,
really
absolutely.
Make all the rules. They're the ones that make all the rules.
You got to get the control of the House or control of the Senate.
Man.
JD said, I love Duane on the stream. His opinion and outlook inspire me and give me strength to move forward. So kudos for that.
Hey, man. That's what's up.
No, that is a hugely
that.
important piece. And that's like I remember when we were doing with Rainey's homie in the garage.
Yeah.
And him and I, when it comes to voting and the responsibility to vote, we're on the same level.
Right.
And that's exactly why, because people for the most part, and here's the sickest part, in my opinion.
Right.
You grew up thinking my vote doesn't count.
Right.
Because you grew up in either a lower middle class to lower class neighborhood.
Right. And nothing changed even when we voiced our opinion. Nothing changed.
But nothing changed because the amount of people that actually from that community that voted was so small because the vast majority were taught that their vote doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Why do you think they teach the lower income communities that their vote doesn't matter?
Right.
It's because they know that they're going to vote against the rich man.
Right. And not only that, but they're the majority.
Right.
And rich people will be like, look, they're the majority, and if they understand how much power they have, we're finished.
Right.
So they
Absolutely.
keep them down and oppressed and thinking that they can't do anything, that they're powerless, when in all actuality they're more powerful than any other 1%.
Absolutely.
Because there's more of them than there is of the 1%, you know? My main thing is this when it comes to politics is, and again, I didn't care about politics, man, because of the trust issues I have with our government and with certain things with our country, but that lack of trust is what made me want to do research and be like, well, I'm sitting here being a hypocrite because I'm just saying I don't trust this country. Why don't you trust the country?
Right.
Well, I don't trust the country because of X, Y, and Z, but then I don't have anything more than X, Y, and Z. You understand? Right. So it's like, nah, that doesn't make sense why you don't like the country. So that's another reason why I researched. And what I found was, this is what blows me away. And this is what I think is wrong with the voting process, with just the process itself is, most people, like I don't care who people voted for, Donald Trump or Hillary or whoever, I don't care. But when you talk to the people that don't like Trump, some of the people, there's a high percentage that don't like him because their family doesn't like him. Not because they don't have a reason. They didn't do their own research to be like, I don't like his views, right? No. They're just saying I don't like him because their mom and dad doesn't, or their best friend doesn't, or their group of friends don't, right? And a lot of people in their group don't know why, because they just agree. They just agree, right? So people don't do their own research. You know, they just don't. They don't do their own research. And it irritates me because I used to be one of those people who were like, nah, you know, but once I did some research and understand the underclassmen of the presidency, the people that we can vote on every 2 years, which is a gang of people, all the way from the individual seats, all the way from like the 36th seat of the city council. Yeah. You can vote on that. Yeah. And I didn't know that. And so when I did research, I was like, we need to change these motherfucking people, not the president and all that. We need to change these people, the underbosses. Right. Because if we can get people, and younger people too, no offense to older people, I'm just saying younger people have a different outlook on the world now. And I think
politically they're more in tune than any generation in this country
for sure,
has ever been.
100%. And not only that, but I think it's the presidency, I think 20 years ago, let's just say 20 years ago, is more like who you know versus what you know. And I'm tired of that, man, because when I went and looked at the voters pamphlet, you know how many people don't even look at the voters pamphlet? I understand why, though. It's boring as fuck, for one. But when you look at the pamphlet and you read the qualifications of these people, or you read their background, you're like, how the fuck did he get voted?
Bro, do you
just because you're a YMCA instructor, you think you can just run a city?
You know what is so bizarre to me listening to you say this right now? Huh. I specifically remember you and Josh and Rainey and me sitting in the garage, and you and Shawn are like, why do we vote? Voting's stupid. Right. I wouldn't even know who to vote for because everybody lies. And I went in the house and I grabbed the fucking voter pamphlet and I said, everything you need to know is right here.
And it's right.
Just take a few minutes, read it, and make your own decision.
I took an hour. And there's certain people that I'm like, oh, man, I like his views. I like his outlook. But let me research him some more.
Right.
You know? And that's what's missing, man. I don't think there's anything that's making the voter pamphlet or that whole process exciting. Like, it's boring.
It is.
You know what I mean? And when you get bored, you look for something else to do. And your attention span instantly goes away because you're bored. You're not stimulated.
I think part of the boredom, though, comes from people, A, growing up with the mentality that my vote doesn't count.
Right.
And B, people thinking that, don't realizing just how important it is.
Right.
Like, if people would take a few hours and realized how much of a yes man Jamie Herrera Butler is, and think this is the person that when there's a meeting on Capitol Hill, when there's a meeting at the White House or a congressional meeting, a Senate meeting, whatever, these are the type of people that are representing me.
Right.
Because this is the person that, because I didn't vote, is sitting in that seat.
Right. Because it's
That's
enough
who
people that were
represents
like,
me.
I'm not voting. Yeah. And it's, bro, you have no idea. Like, when I learn new things, I kick myself in the ass because I'm like, fuck, man, if I would have just known this years ago, 4 years ago, 8 years ago, or whatever, 12 years ago, it just boggles my mind. But it was made so boring. Like, politics, I mean, even as much as I know now, which really isn't saying much, as much as I know now, I still find it boring, but it's informational. It's important.
Right.
It's important because I don't believe,
and that makes absolute sense.
yeah,
Like
it's just boring. So it didn't catch my eye. But the thing is that I understand now that I can't complain about our country's state because the people that are in charge right now were put in place by us and by the lack of
we've
voters.
got some trolls in our chat.
Do we?
Want to become famous? Buy followers, primes, and views on bigfollows.com. Bigfollows.com.
Nah, I'm good.
IMAX and FS3YDKZY086, and you now owe me money for that shout. I want my check.
Want my check. I want my money and I want it now. But yeah, man, it's I you know, but now as far as videos go and watching like debates and things like that, that's another thing that I'm gonna have to ease into because I still don't have the patience for that. I'm at the research stage right now. There's levels to this, right? That's what they say. There's levels to this.
Absolutely.
And I'm at the level to where I'm starting to learn about what I call the underbosses, the secretaries of states and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And I find that shit fascinating as hell. That's what I find fascinating.
So remember when I was on the McDevitt campaign?
Yes.
He was running for Congress. He was running for congressional rep, and I know how important it is to have somebody that's going to represent me sitting in those meetings, deciding what issues they're going to tackle. So that's why that was so important to me. Now, I know politically you haven't really had any fire to be paying attention. Mm-mm. Do you know anything about John Lewis?
No, but I just know his name. That's it.
Okay.
And I know he's a brother.
Okay.
But because I know he's a brother, I don't want to automatically like him just because we resemble each other. You understand what I'm saying?
That's valid.
Yeah. And I don't want to put out there either that people just vote for somebody because their skin color or because it's the easy way out and just say, well, that's a black dude and I support him because I'm black. And it's like, well, you might not fucking agree with what he's saying though, bro. Do some research.
Right.
You know, I'm not saying not to support him, but I'm saying if you are going to support somebody, make sure you do enough research to where you can make an informed decision on if you really want to support this person.
Right. John Lewis, in my opinion, was a modern-day Martin Luther King. Absolutely, he's fought for civil rights his entire life. Mm-hmm. He's fought for civil rights not only on a black and white thing, but on male-female thing.
Right.
Gay, LGBTQ rights. He was a civil rights activist his entire life. He was a state senator. The reason I ask is because I want to put this bitch on blast for a second. And you don't have to say anything at all. Just be like, okay, I understand why. This picture right here makes me fucking sick. This is Jamie Herrera Butler.
Okay, and Jamie Herrera Butler, for people that don't know, is?
She is our congressional representative.
Okay.
She represents you and me.
Okay.
This in the background is John Lewis's casket.
Really?
So she took a picture, had one of her staffers take a picture of her, because when he died, obviously there was a memorial for him in the White House. And she wanted to make sure that she had a photo op. But she doesn't have a single picture with the man while he was alive.
So basically, it's just that it's kind of like the people that just take a picture of themselves to say that they were there.
Yeah.
Like the people, like the protesters, which are awesome. Thank you, protesters, for protesting. But they're also people that are down there just to say 10 years from now that they were there.
Right.
Right? That's what I take that as.
Right. And that's what I take that as. She doesn't give a shit about his activism. She doesn't give a shit about what he did.
Right.
She just knows that maybe if I take some pictures and show that, oh, it breaks my heart, John Lewis is gone, the black people in my own community might vote for me over the next person.
Right. Right.
It's fucking disgusting.
It is disgusting because not only is she taking bad advantage of that opportunity just to be seen because, oh, I care so much when you didn't care when he was alive.
Right.
But she's also taking advantage of the situation because she knows above coronavirus, but the whole Black Lives Matter thing, it makes her look good like I'm on board.
Right.
And she very might well be, but why take this opportunity to let people know, hey, I'm on board?
Because an election's coming up.
Exactly.
That's why.
And that's the whole reason why I used to think, oh, this is just bullshit propaganda. I don't want to deal with it. But that attitude, I had to realize, man, that's the attitude. If enough people took that attitude, our world's fucked.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, we're headed in that direction anyways.
Like we can't not care. You just can't.
And that's
because if you don't,
that's what I've been trying to explain to people on this show since season 1.
If you don't care, that's being selfish as fuck. And I was a part of that. And I can sit
lazy.
here.
It really is being lazy.
And it's being lazy.
Like you said, it's boring to read through the pamphlet, but
it's so informative, man. And
as
I'm glad
an American
I did.
citizen, we still have some of the most freedoms in this country anywhere in the world. We still have, regardless of how bad it's getting, we still have one of the best nations on this planet. We are blessed to be able to be born here. So it's our responsibility as an American citizen. The amount of bullshit other countries have to put up with is their citizens.
In some countries, they can't do this.
No,
because they can't speak freely.
So we take
our
freedoms. We take our freedoms for granted so much.
Right.
That taking every 2 years, take 2 hours, read through the voter pamphlet, practice your right and your responsibility. Just get it done.
Just get it done. It's every 2 years or every 4 years. I found out you can do it every 2 years with the underbosses, which is important. I'm telling y'all out there right now, it's important every 2 years to vote the underbosses. The what are they called? The seats of
Congress and the Senate.
Yeah, the Congress and
House.
the Senate. I call them underbosses because I don't know the exact terms, but we need to change the underbosses so when the bosses, when they go and represent an actual president or vice president or whatever, you have confidence in this person because you've researched them. You understand that their thought of our country falls in line with where it should be, in your opinion, and it's all subjective. But I think at the end of the day, we need it to switch from I want to become president just to say I'm a president versus I want to become president because I actually want to make change. And I'm not saying that there hasn't been anybody who hasn't wanted to make change, although there's a lot of empty promises that's been made. But to me, it's a big dick swinging contest, man. It really is. I
don't disagree. I don't disagree at all.
But I take it.
Maybe we need a president that doesn't have a dick.
Maybe. You never know. And I truly believe that's going to be something. That's going to be a road that we'll have to tackle too. And this is what I'll say. I don't care who runs the country, as long as they have the country in their best interest, but they listen to the people of the country.
Right. They
don't just say, I hear what you're saying, but we're going to do this. And it's like, it's not, because, America, I'm very grateful when I wake up in the morning. I wasn't born in a third world country. I wasn't born in a country to where women are still oppressed and have to wear shrouds and they can only fucking their eyes and shit. Not making fun of anybody. I'm just saying I don't want to live in a place like that. And I pray for everybody that does live in a place like that and wants out and can't get out.
Right.
We are so blessed. We're so fucking blessed. We're so lucky to be born on a soil that allows us so much freedom to think and feel and act how we want to. And we take it for granted and we take advantage of it in a wrong way.
I absolutely agree.
And
absolutely agree.
Half the people that take advantage of the system, if they lived in these other countries, they'd be dead by now. They'd have their hands cut off. Like, these other countries don't fuck around.
Right.
You know what I mean? They don't fuck around.
And it's funny. I've said a few times over the last year, and my significant other has given me real dirty looks. Like, it pisses her off when I say this. But if we were allowed to chop off the hand of somebody that steals from us, I would be okay with that.
I would be okay with that if it's a repeat offender. If it's a first-time offender, give them a chance to learn, give them a chance to grow, give them however long the sentence is.
But if we grow up in a society knowing that you can get your hand cut off for stealing, are you going to want to steal?
Fuck no.
Exactly my point.
Fuck no. I'm going to be asking everything. Hey, can I pick this up real quick? Like,
right.
Yo, I'm just looking.
If it ain't yours, keep your hands off it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's going to go from you break, you buy to you break, we break.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's and people take that for granted, but I think they take it for granted because
all we get is a slap on the wrist.
All we get is a slap on the wrist, and
we don't have to respect each other's lives or privacies or
none of that. And I think that's why a lot of other countries don't like America, man, because we take advantage. We are so
spoiled asses.
We're entitled.
Yeah.
Right?
We're
so
entitled.
Other countries sees us as, look at these entitled motherfuckers, man. They get everything. Yeah. They get everything and throw the shit away. They burn their own fucking cities. They do all this. Guess what? These motherfuckers are in third world countries are growing up in cities that look like Portland.
Right.
After a fucking riot.
Well, and there's people that are burning our flag, and I understand it. There's people mad that our flag is being burned, and I understand it. But take everybody that's burning the flag or mad at burning the flag, put them in a country where you have to get on your hands and knees and worship a flag.
Exactly. And it's just
where you can be put to death if you don't.
Right.
Get out of here.
I just really think, man, and I the reason why I say this is because it's me, really, the people that didn't believe that your vote counts and all that kind of stuff. Individually, you take 1 million person and one person doesn't vote, it's not going to make that big of a difference. But if that one person has enough influence to influence half of those 1 million people, guess what? Now we have a fucking problem. Right? And for me, I had to understand and realize that, it is important to learn this shit, dude. Even as boring as it is with the pamphlets and this and that and all, I was so surprised to see that it's not even that complicated. It's not
hard at all.
It's
not hard at all.
I think people get detoured because all these big words and all these titles that get put on people, and people see all these titles and they're like, well, fuck, these titles are never endless, so I'm not going to study what these titles are or what they do because it's too much. And I think somewhere down along the lines, people higher up know that people aren't going to do that. And so they take advantage of that as well and say, guess what? I'll get you in because they're not going to care.
No, not only that do they know that they're going to do that, they know that the lower classes definitely are not going to.
Right.
So the people that can afford to are putting more money into their promotional campaigns in the places that have higher education standards and people that are more prone to pay attention.
Right.
Like, there was that big controversy with the Native American dude that socked the little kid or whatever.
Yeah.
Now we talked about that. Mm-hmm. We weren't there, so we don't know what happened before that. But
are you talking about the kid that was standing in front of the Native American dude?
Yeah.
Who got paid $250 million?
The kid?
The kid did, yeah, because he sued Fox, he sued all the networks because they made him look like a bad guy, and he said that it emotionally scarred him because the people that live around him like isolated him and made him feel like shit. So he sued all these people and won $250 million.
Wow.
For standing in front of,
I never knew that.
From standing in front of the Native American dude. Yeah, you can look it up right now. $250 million he won in a lawsuit. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
So what kind of message is that sending to every other kid in America? All of those kids were from a private school anyway, so he already had a decent upbringing. He probably already had a trust fund. He probably already had.
I was just like, this dude won $250 million for standing there. And I'm not going to say he was being an asshole.
And I'm
not going to say he's not being an asshole. I wasn't there, but
I'll say, hey, kid, you were being an asshole. You can come and sue me if you want to, but you ain't getting shit.
But from what I seen, he definitely wasn't being very neighborly. right? This dude got $250 million. So what that tells me is, it's like the and I know I keep going back to this, but it's like professional sports people that act up and never are held accountable.
Right.
And they keep acting up, and you keep giving them chances, and then you get mad at that person for keep acting up. After a while, it's not his fault anymore.
Right.
After a while, it's your fault because
Right.
you didn't fucking kick him in the ass and say, no, you're not going to play this year.
Absolutely.
You're not, you know? And so this kid is just an example. Now other kids are going to see it and be like, oh, now I'm going to wait for my opportunity.
Yeah.
And it's like, we're going backwards.
Bro, I heard let's sue them 3 times over the last few days. From a 15-year-old, 16-year-old.
Yes.
Because they have it in their head
Yes.
that, look, if you want to get ahead in life, you got to step on somebody and wait for
You have
somebody
to be an
fuck
asshole.
up.
Yes. Yes.
Wait for somebody to fuck up so you can sue them.
Bro, it's the cancel culture and it's the sue culture. Oh, you're going to have him on your show? I'm not going to watch your show anymore, and I'm going to tell all my friends not to. Just because maybe you might not like that person. The cancel culture is super real, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Super
Yeah,
real.
yeah.
And it's and granted, if there was somebody that 20 years ago, 30 years ago messed with a girl, I'm not talking about just grabbed her ass or that. Although that's bad too, don't get me wrong. I'm talking about dudes that really took it too far.
Right.
Granted, I understand. Okay, now you want to come out 30 years later, 20 years later and say this and you know, I get it. To a point, I get it, and it should never have happened in the first place, and these people need to be called out. What I have a problem with are the females that take advantage of that situation and wait for someone to get successful in life and then fuck with them.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, listen, if what happened to you, it sucks. But don't wait on purpose, knowing that this person's going to blow up
If
and
you weren't-
then try to get money from
Yeah, or the people that never would have said anything until they find out somebody's in a better position than them, and then
they
that's
do it.
America. As Americans, it's that crab pot mentality.
It's crazy.
Somebody starts to climb out of the pot, and everybody else wants to grab and drag him back in the water.
Yeah.
No, you're not getting out before me.
It's so because no one wants to see anybody shine, man. And it's sad. It bugs me to the point to where I'm like, no wonder so much shit is screwed up right now. Not only in their country, but just throughout the world.
Right.
You know, and I can't sit here and say everybody who supports Trump is a racist or everybody who supports Hillary is a liar, because it's not the case. And I understand there's great Americans that did vote for Trump, and there's great Americans that did vote for Hillary. And that's a discussion for another day. But
I'm going to challenge that.
But I will say that a lot of people that did vote for Trump only did it because their friends did it or their parents did it. And the people who voted for Hillary only did it because their parents or their friends did it. No one did research. And education, it's going to sound like a cliche bullshit line. Bro, education changes shit. It really does, because
That's true.
People don't know what they don't know, right? But people that do know, and they know that this person doesn't know what he's supposed to, will take advantage of it.
Right.
And that's what happens. That's why we have all these fucking problems. We have the 1% making all the rules, because they know that these motherfuckers don't know what they're supposed to be knowing.
Right.
And they take advantage, and it pisses me off. And so I'm very proud of myself that I've done research, because I let's face it, I still have trust issues with the country. But it was
We all do.
It's
if we
because of,
don't have trust issues with the country, we're
but I
really not
didn't
paying
have-
attention at all.
But I didn't have enough information to come to that conclusion. You understand? So it was premature. The thought was premature. I didn't have anything to stand on.
Right.
If someone were to ask me, why don't you trust the country? Well, because nothing ever gets changed. Well, why do you think that? Well, because I never had a real answer, right? And that's because I never did research, and I had to really sit down and say, listen, man, if you really fucking want some change, which I do, because I love everybody, you all know that, I have to start with myself and be like, bro, you got to be the change. And so, yeah, I'm taking every steps to get my voting rights back.
Good for you, man.
Everything, because it is a privilege we were born here, man. It is. And when I look at people from third world countries, kids, I almost get emotional, because it's not fair. It's not fair that we have luscious parks and fucking all this shit, And we take it for granted when there's a 6-year-old, 7-year-old kid who's walking barefoot in a street that's made of fucking clay that's falling apart. Rabid dogs are running the street. All this bullshit's going on, and this kid has to grow up in it, man. It's not fair.
Check it out. Another subscriber.
Hey, good luck, Jay.
FunkShop TV,
Thank you.
FunkShop TV, FunkShop TV, FunkShop TV.
So, you know,
Appreciate the subscription.
appreciate that right there. But, yeah, I'll echo it again. For people that really don't think your vote matters, I'm looking straight at you. Please do some research. Please vote, because it is important. I was one of those people who just didn't give a fuck and didn't think that my vote mattered, but it does. Because, again, if there's enough people that don't give a fuck, we're all fucked.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely agree.
So that's my take on it.
Man, it's you know what? Off of the voting subject for a second. It's nice to be sitting here chatting with somebody and not arguing.
That's true. That's true. Arguments. And I think one of the reasons why people are quick to argue is because we get real defensive when what we say is being challenged for some reason. Ego is a huge thing, man. And I think when people don't necessarily have their ego under control, or their ego is making decisions for them, that's where it gets squirrely, man. You know, and ego is just... Ego is insecurity at the end of the day.
Pride is a motherfucker.
Yeah, it is. It really is. You know, pride.
I told my dad, like, when we start bringing the podcast back, I'm gonna do everything I can to not curse, but there's no other way to say it. Pride is a motherfucker.
It is. It's a motherfucker, man. And I don't mean to cuss so much, but it is what it is. And normally, it depends on the subject. If I'm very passionate about something, I'm passionate about it.
Right.
You know, and I was so adamant about not giving a shit. So adamant. And nothing's going to change my mind, bro. I don't care. I don't da-da-da-da-da. And it's just, it's my perspective that I had to change, man. It's because I look around, and I'm not on social media as much as I used to be and all that kind of stuff, because I looked around and I was just like, man, this world is in so much pain. There's so much narcissistic like actions going on. There's so many. For instance, the reason why we have all these filters and all these things that make you look better in pictures and all that, because that slowly reprograms our mind to where if you don't look like this, you don't belong.
Right.
If you don't get 100 likes in 15 minutes, delete it.
Yep.
And it's like, or you have those people that they'll post something and their friend will post something, get all this attention, and you'll get a quarter of it and then feel, oh, well, I must not be good enough. And it's like, that's when our world is not like that. It's not, it's just insane to me, man. And every single, like, if you look at Messenger stories or Facebook stories, and you took 100 females.
Fuck, I don't
and guys too.
females.
And guys too. I'll throw guys in there too. If you take 100 females, I'm telling you right now, 70% of them will have a post like, "Oh, I got new hair," but you can barely see their hair because it's all titties.
Right.
And they'll be like, "I got my hair done," and you can't even see the hair, but you got to make sure your titties are in the picture to get attention, right? And guys do the same kind of things when it comes to like abs or whatever. It doesn't matter. It guys and girls. So I'm not just picking on anybody. But where do we go from? Let's see. I literally don't know if I would have made it through my loss with it. Oh yeah.
I was gonna read both of those comments.
Yeah.
I didn't want to interrupt where you're going.
Your message gets across, and you are valued, and your opinion influences a lot of people. Thank you, man. I love you for that, bro. Yeah, it's because everyone has value, man. That's the thing. Everybody has value. Everybody on this earth, because you were born for a reason.
There's two things that everybody two things everybody is born with: value and talent.
Yes.
Most people just don't know what their talent is.
They don't know what their talent is, and they get it shot down before they even find it, man.
Right.
Because they're already comparing themselves to people that they don't. For one, they don't need to compare themselves to, and
Yeah,
for two, they're programmed to compare themselves. We are programmed. The younger generation is programmed to either be, if your Facebook and your Instagram and your Twitter don't look like this, and you don't have this many followers, you're a nobody. On an average, anybody that watches it, that's watching now, anybody that watches it in the future, right now, what difference does it make if you have 5,000 people following you or 5 people? What's the difference? Because that 5,000 people, I promise you, you don't know half of them, and you never met half of them.
For real.
Not that that's a bad thing. It just is what it is.
I'll be the first to admit I'm guilty of it. Like scrolling through my Facebook or I get a notification that so-and-so liked my post. I'll go through and see who liked it and see who hasn't yet. And I think about the people that haven't yet that should have. And it gets in my feelings, man. It really does.
Because as human beings, we get used to that dopamine release when we see when we see those likes or we see those hearts or we see that notification that comes up. We're like, ooh, it's that little bit of excitement of, oh, who said what? And we were programmed that way, man. It's the first website that I ever went to that had like a judging system where is like a scale of 1 to 10 or whatever. It was a website called hotornot.com. Maybe even before that.
I remember that shit.
But hotornot.com really brought it to my attention because I'm like, hotornot.com, just the title alone is like, oh, there's a lot of females and dudes that's going to think there's some ugly ass people.
Yep.
When they're not. Like they put a picture up and it's a scale of 1 to 10. And if your average is like a 5 or a 6, that psychologically fucks you up because now in real life, in the flesh, where people can see you, where most people don't look like their fucking profile picture anyway.
I do.
When they see you in real life, you get like, you feel undervalued because people are like, oh, you don't look like your profile picture, or why does your picture look like that and you look like this? That just, all it does is stack on top. You already felt like shit because you don't have as many followers as your friend over here, right? So that's one level of disappointment. Then when you go out into the real world, because you already have that fucking thought about yourself, you go out into the real world where actually the real world matters. Your integrity, your character in the real world matters. When you get out into the real world and you're faced with conflict, you don't know how to deal with it because you're in your feelings about the fake world you just logged off of, right? So then you get automatically defensive and you don't know how to communicate because we've been communicating on phones and shit. We've been communicating with messages and texts. We don't know how to even conversate, man, to get people to have the conversation to say you are important and these fucking views don't matter, man.
Right. That's absolutely true. Like people do not know how to have a conversation face to face so much anymore. And when they do, they're so quick to put up walls and be like, we don't need to be fighting. Well, we're not fighting. We're having a discussion. There's a difference.
Right.
I'm not raising my voice. I'm not trying. Look, I'm being as soft-spoken as I can.
Right.
But you assume that it's nothing but aggression.
Right.
Because
that's how they feel.
Because I'm stating my feelings.
Right.
This is how I feel. You can't. You have no right to stand there and tell me I'm wrong.
Right.
And no right to stand there and assume that I'm angry just because I feel a certain way that you don't think I should be feeling.
We can have a conversation about it.
Let's
talk
be
about
human.
It. Exactly. Listen. If I want respect, you must give it. It's just what it is. You can't go into a room and expect people to just be like, hey man, what's up, if you haven't in the past shown them respect.
Right.
There's some people that walk into a room and you're like, oh great, because they're an asshole. Right? It's an energy exchange.
There's people that feel like that about me when I walk into a room. I know it, but there's people that I have no reason to respect too.
And that's the thing too. That's another thing. But imagine, this is what gets me. I got goosebumps even thinking about it. Imagine, I just want anybody in the future or right now who's watching this, just imagine that when you go outside, you wake up, you go outside, and every single encounter with another human being was a good encounter. Even if it was a, hey, how you doing? Just passing each other. Doing good. How are you? Great. And you just pass each other. Imagine if every encounter was a good encounter. And the ones that weren't good, you were able to talk. You were able to talk it out and come to an understanding.
Right.
And it was still good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying we shouldn't go through adversity. We should go through adversity. But there's a better way. There's a better way, bro. There's a better way. And I just know there's a better way. And that's why I try to show everybody as much love as I can. And I try to have the wherewithal that when someone has an issue with me, and I know I didn't do anything to warrant that issue, I have the wherewithal to be like, oh, they're going through something.
Yeah.
And I just happen to be the person that's in front of them right now.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't me, it would be somebody else, right? There's not enough people that will have that wherewithal, so they'll automatically get defensive when the situation had nothing to do with them in the first place.
Well, a lot of people, man, have also become so selfish and entitled that they forget that the number one golden rule is treat others the way you want to be treated.
Exactly.
People get mad if if I know a girl that's seeing somebody, she doesn't want him looking at another female, but yet she's always flirting with other dudes.
Right.
Always catching feelings for other dudes and always and she's like, well, my man doesn't care. Deep down inside, he sure the fuck does.
Right.
And
Right.
anytime he looks at somebody, she's real quick to be like, no, you're mine.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Stop it.
Right.
I don't understand this, man. I don't
Right.
If you want somebody to be loyal and faithful to you, you have to be loyal and faithful
Absolutely.
to them.
And you can't expect anything less if you're anything less. I mean, that's just the way it is. It's you get out of life what you put in, and that's on
Right.
all levels. That's on all levels. I don't care what it is. I don't care if you want to get to a goal of reading 2 books a month, but you're not even reading half a book. How are you going to get to that goal?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You have to apply what you want, and what you put in is exactly what you're going to get out.
You don't really want it if you're not picking the book up in the first place.
Exactly.
Jay said, I'm guilty of always thinking I am in trouble because of my past. And that's valid. That's absolutely
very valid, man. That's very valid.
But it's getting out of your thinking that you're so in that case your thinking is kind of your roadblock.
Right.
Part of the reason I stay home a lot now and keep to myself, I don't want to mess up friendships I have. I understand that. I absolutely understand that and respect that. But if you're worried about messing up the friendships you have, you should probably reevaluate
The friendship.
how you're looking at that friendship in the first place.
Right.
I know you've been down and out because you feel like you've been there for a lot of people, and lately a lot of people haven't been there for you, and you're going through so much in life right now. I couldn't even imagine, and someday I'm gonna have to face that day, and I dread it more than anything else in the entire world when I have to go through what you're going through right now.
Yeah.
But the energy that you put out in the universe is the energy that you're gonna get back.
Exactly.
And it's real important, even if you have to force it. I tell people all the time, even if you have to force a smile, eventually the smile sticks.
And it's going to be real eventually. It will.
Right.
It will be real eventually. You just have to. Sometimes it just takes a little getting used to feel something good, right? Because I think when people are so used to just failing, or so used to failure, or so used to bad things happening in their life, you unnaturally get pessimistic about things. So
Right.
when you go into something, you don't believe anything's gonna happen, because it never does in your life, right? Nothing ever works out. And I think
And our brains are always fucking with us anyways.
Yes.
Like this pandemic stuff that we're going through,
Yes,
the fact
yes.
that we can't go out and do what we want to do, we
Right.
can't feel how we want to feel,
Right.
it's creating a lot of depression. And because of that,
Yeah.
we wake up thinking, I can't live the way I want. You feel like life has got a chokehold on you.
Yep.
And it's affecting the relationships around you. It's making us bitter. It's making us angry. And if we're not consciously thinking about, okay, take a deep breath,
Right.
look at the people that you love and that love you,
Right.
and hold on to it.
Right.
Even if you have to swallow your pride and humble yourself a little bit, because you don't know what they're going through in the same token. So
Right.
sometimes you have to be the one that starts the fire.
It's very true. It's very true. You gotta have conversation starters, man. And sometimes conversation starters don't always start out the best, but the ending it's not necessarily really how you start something, it's how it ends. And I truly believe, for instance, like me, like a year ago, I would have never fucking voters pamphlet. Fuck that. Right?
I remember specifically,
Yeah.
very vividly remember walking out of my house, walking into the garage with the voters pamphlet and tossing it on the table and said, y'all can take it, man.
Right.
You want to learn something? And you guys looked at me like I was fucking crazy.
Yeah, because you don't know what you don't know. And I think, and again, our society is programmed to be like, you politics doesn't matter. What matters is what you're wearing. What matters is
Right.
what's your handbag. What shoes are those?
Right.
What matters is what car you're driving.
What kind of car do you have? How
You know
much
what I mean?
money you got in your
It's
bank
all
account?
materialistic, which falls under that whole persona of like Instagram. When you see people on Instagram and it looks like their fucking lives are amazing and all that kind of shit, it's not.
Right.
It's not, because I guarantee they're not posting when they do feel like shit. They're not posting when something didn't go right.
Right.
They're not posting when they can't afford that beach house that they went to. You know what I mean? Like, social media, although it's done amazing things, I truly believe social media has done great things, great things for people as far as meeting people in their family that they never knew existed,
Right.
or learning new languages or something like that, educational, right? But I also, on the same token, social media has just poisoned a generation that it's sad, man, and I almost get emotional thinking about
It's
it
not even the
because
generation. It's just society in general.
Yeah.
People are sharing so many. I'm calling out people every single day for sharing a meme, a political meme.
Right.
That's propaganda.
Right.
Because it's false. It's misleading. That is propaganda.
Right.
And it's everywhere.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
is so dirty.
And usually the people that post those things don't have the information to back up why they're posting it in the first place.
Right.
And it's like you're just posting that because your friends post shit like
Or
that.
it goes against whoever you don't like, or it's for whoever you do like.
Exactly.
It fits your agenda, so you're going to share it.
Exactly. And the thing is, my whole thing in politics is one thing that turns me off, besides the boring factor of it, is we literally choose who runs our country based on how much shit that person talks about the other person.
Right.
And if that's
Who has the better smear campaign?
right, and so if that's how the top of our country runs, how the fuck do you think the lower part of the country is going to run? Because last time I checked, shit rolls downhill. You understand what I'm saying? So if our leaders are getting their roles by talking shit against their competition, why do you think we have, again, professional athletes talking shit against other athletes instead of saying, man, you know what? I seen your 30 for 30, or I seen your documentary. Bro, you busted your ass, man. You busted your fucking ass. Good job.
Right.
No, it's always like, fuck that dude. Fuck him. He can't guard me. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And Jordan was like, that's a whole nother conversation. But if for anybody who hasn't watched The Last Dance, please watch The Last Dance with Jordan.
Jay said, I try to be there for people, maybe as simple as turning off speakers for Duane or helping Biggz set up and or bringing things he forgot, which happens a lot. I'm old. It's my brain. I try to project positive, and at the end of the day, I can't get out of bed or leave my little cul-de-sac.
Yeah.
A lot of that's, man, you know where I live.
Right.
And I know I'm not always the most positive person. I've been letting life stress get to me way more than I should.
Hey, we are human.
But this right here is a release for me.
Right.
I hate going live by myself. I hate not having somebody to talk to and to bounce ideas back and
Right.
forth. Whether or not we agree, I don't care.
Right. It's different.
It's so hard when you're just talking to yourself and staring at a screen. But man, anytime you can be like, bro, I got to get some shit off my chest. Can you come? I'm coming over. Turn on the cameras. I'm cool. Let's do it.
Yep.
Let's do it.
Yeah. It's, you know, and it's funny that Jay says that because I tell him, hey, man, you're appreciated. I don't know if you hear it a whole lot or whatever. I appreciate you. Thank
Right.
you. You know, and that's all it takes for
Sometimes it is, yes.
for somebody who's down on themselves. Not you, Jay. I'm saying in general. For people that are down on themselves and they already have this self-sabotage way of thinking, that one little gesture of saying, you know what, you are appreciated, man. that does so fucking much for people.
Yeah.
That does so much. And it's a lot of my friends sometimes when we'll go like shopping or even at a restaurant or something like that, I'll tell the people working there, hey man, I appreciate you working. Thank you for working today.
Right.
How many times do they hear that? They don't ever hear that.
Right.
Right? But when you tell somebody they're appreciated, what that does is that brings value to them that might have not been there naturally.
Right.
You know? Because they're already going around feeling like shit.
Well,
But when they get that little piece of acknowledgement, that little piece of gratitude, like, damn, he really appreciates me or she really appreciates me, that little gesture, you never know, might get them to the next day.
See, and I've said that for a long time. Being a little bit of positive energy to me is planting a seed.
Right.
And you never know how big that tree is going to grow.
Right.
So if you're cool to, if you give somebody a pat on the back, you know, obviously not physically.
Right.
Right now because
Not
of
right
social
now, anyway.
distancing.
Yeah.
But you make somebody feel good. You just be like, you know, compliment something they're wearing. Make them feel good about a choice they made.
Yep.
You
Because
never
that's
know
a risk in itself.
Right.
That's a
But
risk.
you never
in
know
itself.
who they're going to encounter.
Exactly.
And what kind of mood they're in. So if they're having a bad day, it's just going to take one little thing to make them go off the deep end.
Exactly.
But if somebody counterbalances that, then maybe, okay, my day's not so bad.
Right.
You know, for me, I'm not going to get too deep on here right now because it's not the right time, but there's a few little things that somebody could do that's just going to take me from here to here.
Right.
And when I'm up here,
Right.
everybody knows that, like, I'm the guy that wants to hug everybody and make sure everybody else is up here with me because it's euphoric.
Right, it is.
The energy.
It is, yeah.
That is just infectious, and I want to project that on the world. But
Right.
if I start getting dropped down a few notches and I start feeling low about myself, I can't do it.
Yep.
I really can't do it. And sometimes all I need is somebody else to be like, you know what, you look good today, or you know, that way that you mix. Like the last night that I got to DJ, I wasn't even DJing. I had the video mix playing.
Right.
But I'm standing in the corner right before that fight broke out that turned into a big fiasco.
Right.
And a dude comes up. He goes, "Man, I thought you were DJing." I said, "Well, I kind of am. It's a video mix I pre-recorded." He goes, "No, I mean, I've been listening for the last hour, and the only thing I could think is only Biggz can mix that." And it made me feel so powerful.
Right.
It made me feel so good about myself.
Right.
I didn't even recognize the guy. I don't. As far as I know, I've never seen him in my life.
Right.
But he goes, "Man, I've been listening to your mixes, and I've been watching you DJ since you were at City Zoo." And I was like, "Well, how many people around here even mention that place anymore?"
Exactly.
So it just made me feel so good that when that fight happened with that bad situation, all I wanted to do was protect everybody.
Yeah.
All I wanted to do was like,
that's how you.
this is what we got to do to get through this and save the bar and save the people.
Yes.
Because I was on cloud fucking nine.
Yes. And it's almost like mental validity.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And I don't care who you are. I don't care how self-motivated you are. I don't care who you can be. David Goggins. You can be Joe Rogan. You can be anybody. You're going to have a day. Yeah, you're going to have a day where you don't feel like you should be feeling, and it's a human nature, and that's why it's called energy exchange, right? That's why people can affect others, because it's an energy exchange. I can send positive energy your way that's going to recharge your positive energy cup, right?
Right.
Or I can send negative energy your way.
It's going to poke a hole in the bottom of it.
Exactly.
And no matter what you do to refill it, it's just going to keep draining.
It's just going to keep going and keep going and keep going. And power, a lot of people talk about all these high, like, billionaires. They have this power, and North Korea has this power, and Russia has this power, and America has this power. You want to know what power is? Power isn't bombs. Power isn't money. Power is in words, bro.
Yep.
Words are the most powerful thing on this fucking planet, and if you don't think it is, you gotta reevaluate. It is some of the most important thing, because words can make you or words can break you. A lot of people are gonna be lost without you and Duane at the bar. A lot of us go there for the release and the interaction with you guys. I appreciate that, and I will tell you that in personal conversations that I've had with people that come into where I work when I'm hosting music, it's like when they tell you things, just like the person who told you, damn, only Biggz can do that.
Right.
There's people that come in, man, I'm glad you're here. And it's like,
I hear it about you all the time.
do you?
Oh my God. People are like, oh, Duane's not here tonight. I just wanted to hear him sing. I'm like, I'm sorry. I apologize that his nights.
You could
are
be
Wednesday.
like, I got the bass line. No, I got the bass line.
No, my line is usually his nights are Wednesday and Thursday, and I'm sorry I can't entertain you the way he does. Because people find entertainment in different things.
Oh, yeah.
And I
For sure.
absolutely respect as
sure.
an entertainer and as
Right,
someone
right.
that's been involved in the music industry.
Right.
I understand where they're coming from.
Right,
I
right.
appreciate it.
Yep.
And like there's mixes that I've recorded, like mixtapes that I've recorded that I love.
Yeah.
I could never get tired of listening to them.
Mine is the Beatles one, man.
I appreciate that. I love
shit
it.
you not. There's at least once or twice a week where I throw it on, and I have it going, and I'm just like, that shit is the shit.
And it just, when you're done, there's things that as people who love music,
Yeah.
there's things we listen to, and then after we're done listening to, we're like, it breathes for us.
Yes.
It's so hard to explain.
Yes.
But people that are caught up in the mumble rap era and bitch this and bitch that and,
Right.
and to whip it in the kitchen and cook it up and all of that. It just, see, JD said slow jams mix. I get it. I understand it.
Slow jams.
And Jay, you
indeed.
haven't even heard that in years. But when you played it at your backyard when we were over there the other day, I saw your face and you were just like, oh shit.
Yeah, this shit's jamming, man. It's
Everybody connects in a different way.
Yes. And I just that's why I think music, even above sports, music is something that's more than just sound. It's more than just sounds put together in a certain way and timing. Music itself is an energy exchange. There's a reason why if you sit in a room and a song comes on, your body will naturally either tap your foot or you'll start moving your head or something.
Right.
Because there's something in music. There is a wave. There is something that matches our internal wavelengths that just is like, oh, that's an energy exchange. Music is powerful, almost as
Absolutely.
powerful as words.
Absolutely.
In fact, I would even go so far to say that music mixed with words is powerful than just words themselves.
Right. It absolutely can be. If you listen to it, when you're listening to a song that touches you,
Right.
it makes you feel a certain way versus if you just had the lyrics and read them.
Yes.
But then when you hear them,
Yes.
and depending on, like, how many different songs can you think of? We don't even need to go into that, but how many different songs have been remade over and over and over and over and over?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. But you could think of a song that's been remade over and over and over and over, but there's that one version that
Yep.
you love, even though it's the same chord progression, it's the same notes, it's the same lyrics,
Yep.
it's the same tone, but this person did it so much better in
Yep.
your mind, and then you
Yep.
could talk to somebody else that thinks the worst one to you is the best one to them.
Right. It's crazy,
That-
man.
The beauty of perception, it's incredible.
The thing is, I always tell people, you want to know how powerful music is? Go ahead and watch your favorite movie without the music. Go ahead and watch a horror movie without music. Go ahead and watch an action movie without music. Boring as fuck. And it doesn't even have the same feel. It just doesn't have the same feel. But again, it's a communicational thing. Music is communication, and it can communicate in so many different ways. And I think one of the many reasons why it connects with people is because music can convey emotion. And when you can connect to something emotionally, that's powerful, regardless what that emotion is: sadness, joy, remorse, deeper understanding of, or deeper wanting to understand yourself.
Right.
Anything. Music can convey all of it, man. And there's nothing more. To me, there's nothing more powerful except for love itself than music. There's just not.
I agree.
There's just not to me. There's just not.
Yeah.
Imagine suicide rates. If over the last 50 years, if you take everybody who had committed suicide, every last person, and you just showed them some love, there's a high percentage that would still be here.
Yeah.
You understand? And and by love, I don't mean hugs and kisses. By love, that could mean, hey man, Let's get to the root problem of your depression.
Right.
I'll sit with you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Love comes in different forms, but just love itself, man. It's it's amazing. It's amazing how something so simple is so powerful, but yet it's very, very it's not seen in a lot of places that places that need it right now.
Right.
Our world needs so much fucking love right now. It's insane, dude. It's insane. But yeah,
Shout out to the Beatles.
Yeah, shout out to the Beatles, baby.
All we need is love.
But yeah, man, we just gotta be there for each other. And humankind, we all gotta live on this rock, man. We all have to live here. And even though we might not see eye to eye on certain things, you might like ketchup, I might like mustard, but that don't mean we can't both eat hot dogs. You understand? Like, it doesn't mean that we both can't eat at the same fucking table, dog. It doesn't mean that we can't still break bread together, even though you might be eating something that I don't like, and I'm eating what I'm eating. It's just like, and then there are some people that are like, bro, we might not be like tight friends. I don't wish ill will towards you. I still want you to succeed. Look, I want you to eat. It's just you can't eat at my table. I don't wish you ill will.
No, we got to be careful about who we let it eat at the table.
There it is. There it is. So there is levels to it. Granted, I do love.
I really hate the red light in that LED bar.
Oh, it's almost like I don't know. It's more oranges to me.
Well, it puts such a red tint on my face.
It does put a red tint on your face. Before I knew what was going on, and because the color rate that it switches, it's kind of slow. So I'm sitting here when I was looking at you earlier about 20 minutes ago. I'm like, the fuck's going on with his face? Like, why is it? I'm like looking around. I'm like, why are the lights changing?
Yeah. Feel like the Kool-Aid man.
yeah. Like, what is going on? But yeah, man, it's.
I'm gonna put JD on the ladder and fix that.
Yeah. Something. But the whole thing is wrapped, like, coming full circle. I love that. Is full circle from Epstein to.
Jay said it makes you look burnt on camera. It does.
It does. It does.
Gotta fix that.
From Epstein to social media. Every single person. It comes down to ego. Comes down to pride.
Yeah.
Social media, like I said earlier, is one of the most amazing things that have been invented, but it's also one of the most dangerous. It's like when people say, oh, the world is so much more racist than it used to be. No, it ain't.
No, it ain't.
Guess what? Those racist people now have a platform.
Right.
They were there the whole time.
Right.
What are you talking about? More racist? No, we're just the same.
Yeah.
You just now see it.
You just now notice it more.
Yeah, that's all it is.
Yep.
You know, the dude who fucking locks his door every time I walk by in the 80s or 90s, now he's just talking shit on the internet. He's been the same guy.
He's still locking the door every time
he's
you walk
still
by.
locking the door, but now he's telling people he's locking the door. You know, and then other
now he's getting on people's comment, like somebody posted a BLM thing or an anti. I saw somebody early last week, posted this anti-BLM thing, and I understand, like, Black Lives Matter, the organization at the top,
right,
what it stands for. There's some faulty things, but the hashtag BLM movement,
right,
is not that.
Right, it's not.
So
that.
somebody
and
was
they lump
posting
it
something
together, though.
Right, somebody was posting something to edify the movement,
right,
and literally, one of the comments was referring to black people as monkeys, like. This is what happens when you give monkeys a voice.
Yeah.
And I flipped out, bro. I tripped.
Yeah.
And, you know, if it wasn't for social media, he probably would never say that to anybody in person or face to face.
Hell no.
Although he was an old man. I did my research. He's an old man from Battleground. So he might.
He might have.
But
he might have.
Now he feels entitled. He feels like he's not silenced. And that's another thing.
Right.
Like, we have this emblazoned part of society, thanks to social media, that post whatever they want, whenever they want.
Without regard of other people. Now, that's not to say you don't have freedom of speech. I get it. For people that do
calling a race monkeys,
right,
when it's racially
right,
it's been a racially derogatory term for decades.
Right.
That is not freedom of speech.
Well, the thing is this. You have the right of freedom of speech, but you're knowingly saying this to piss people off. That's what's wrong. Not that you have the freedom of speech to say whatever, but
No, not necessarily.
no. But look. The reason why I say that, the only reason I say that, is I would like to follow that up by saying, yes, you have the right to say whatever you want. We live in this free country, but you are responsible for what you say.
Right.
So, yes, I believe free speech, but you are responsible for what you say. And if you say something and someone questions or someone doesn't necessarily agree and wants to know why you think that way, do not get defensive and try to defend yourself. Just say, this is why I think this way. Like, I would love, I got interrupted many times, but I was watching this podcast. Joe Rogan had this dude on there. Oh shit, I thought that was my alarm. There's this dude on there for people that are listening. Oh yes.
Been selected to receive a complimentary stay in Mexico.
Pause.
For further details, press 1 now. If you wish to be placed on the do not. You are currently caller number 15, waiting to speak with a representative. Thank you for your patience.
So for people that don't know, anytime that we used to get a telemarketing call, we try to keep them on the
You are
phone.
currently caller number 6, waiting to speak
Oh, you
with a
went from 15 to
representative.
6.
Thank you for your patience.
Damn, Comcast needs to get their
Well,
system.
come on, man. They didn't even say hello. You won. They just hung straight the
I
fuck
hung
up.
up. They're like, fuck this. We understand.
Man.
They're like, oh, you just call FunkShop.
I'm so tired of this. Like, those Social Security ones have been calling a lot lately, and I can't wait. Can't wait.
That's so funny.
Call me while we're live, please.
That's hilarious.
Man.
But yeah, I just think I would love. Or yeah, Joe Rogan. That's what I was thinking. So Joe Rogan had this dude on there, this brother on there. I can't remember his name. I apologize.
Was he black?
He was a black dude, but
I'm
he
kidding.
had.
You said this brother. I knew what you meant.
But he had a conversation with a KKK member,
Okay.
and he got into how the conversation went. He had many incidences where he's had conversations with KKK members. He's had more positive conversations than negatives.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Like, he's got pictures with him and
And
Grand Wizards.
Yeah.
All over the place.
Yeah. He kind of looks like Cleveland from Family Guy.
I know
or whatever.
exactly who you're talking about.
And I find that fascinating because I would love to talk to like a Klan member nowadays, like a modern day Klan member,
Right.
and just ask them, were you taught this or do you truly feel this way about other races? Like,
Before you even ask if you were taught this, you have to, like, how many generations of Klansmen are in your family?
Yes, exactly. Because if it's more than one, because the power of a little kid and what you're raised is so powerful,
Right.
that even if you have more than one generation, you're fucking doomed, man.
Right. We're a product of our surroundings.
Oh yeah, 100%. And so that's
We
why
are programmed.
That's why I don't instantly get mad when I see racist shit. When I see racist shit, I try to look at the people and be like, okay, how are they raised? What's their thinking? Now, if you're just doing it just to piss people off, that means you really don't think that way. You're just being
Right.
an asshole.
Right.
But if you say shit like that and you truly believe it, those are the people I don't get mad at, because then it comes down to you were taught hate, man. Because when kids are born, guess what? They don't know hate.
Right.
If anything, they know love. That's why they love puppies. That's why little babies love certain things that are positive, that they laugh. And when they do cry, they only cry because it's communication,
Right.
right? They don't.
Or because
Babies-
little
babies-
bastards are hungry.
Babies cannot express hate, but they can express love. They can express joy. They can't express hate because hate isn't a natural thing.
Oh, anger is, though.
Anger is, but I can be angry at somebody or angry at something and not hate it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I truly believe that hate is taught. Hate is taught.
I agree with that.
It's
now,
taught.
there have been studies where they've taken infants of all different races, put them in the same room, and lighter colored skin
Oh, yeah.
humans have grouped together against the darker colored skin humans, whatever, because they end up realizing that there's human nature. It tells us that there's power in numbers,
Right.
and you find commonalities between different people. It's like when you go to jail. If you go to prison for the first time, everybody's going to fight to get you in their group because
Right.
the more numbers they have in their group, the more power they have.
Right.
We are developed with that sense.
Well, yeah.
So it can create
Because we're still primal. So,
a percepted racism because if you have more white people or lighter colored skin people to
Right.
group together because they know this one's different, the
Right.
different one is going to be the outcast.
Right. For sure. And I just think that
So there is a little bit of natural to that, but it's 2020. So
Right.
anybody that says, "Well, I just hate because I hate," and that's the way it is.
right. And it's like
You're just an ignorant
Yeah, you're
fool.
just ignorant. And I can't even be mad at you.
Because I can't think if anybody says in this country that they haven't been at least exposed to the other side of thinking, the other way of thinking,
Right.
I would never believe that.
If you have
I don't
if
care
you
if
have
you're in the Ozarks.
experienced or seen the other side of the way you think and you still make a conscious decision not to accept it, that to me is a racist.
I agree.
But you're taught that. But if you're not willing to think that, oh man, maybe I wasn't taught the necessarily the right way.
Right.
If you're not willing to even maybe contemplate that could be a thing, then there's an issue. There's a huge issue. So I would just love to just pick a brain of a KKK member or an old school Nazi, like, you know what I mean? Like, I just want to know, man. I just want to know, because if you go to a playground and you see kids playing, when they play tag or when they're climbing on the jungle gym, they don't care if it's a black kid, little white girl. I will say, the only hesitation I see sometimes is when it's boys and girls.
Yeah.
When it's little boys and little girls playing, they're a little bit hesitant because they're of a different gender. So it's like that, oh, that's a boy. You know what I mean? Versus, oh, that's a black dude, or that's an Asian dude over
Right.
there. That's all that shit is taught, man. And I've been in parks where you can tell the kids that are taught the difference.
Right.
And not in a good way, where you're like, oh, okay, this kid has these type of parents. That's fucked up. But then I start to think, well, how are they raised? And then it's all generational. It's all generational. The first night I went out to Camas, Washington, to go work, to go host music, and run karaoke and stuff like that. The night before my first night there, I went to a place just to check.
Jeff in the box.
Jeff in the
He's
box.
like, holy shit! How goes it, guys? What
What's
up, Jeff?
up, dude?
How you doing, man? Good to see you out there.
Before I started out in Camas, I just went to this place, and for those of you who don't know what Camas and Washougal is, they're cities in
Towns.
They're towns. Yeah,
Towns.
They're towns that are near our city here in Vancouver. And that'd be Washington, not Canada. But so I went to the town the night before I started working just to kind of get a feel of the people out there, because it is very generational out there. And what I mean by generational is not necessarily racist, but generational as in there's family members that have been out there for generations and generations, and everybody kind of knows everybody and this, that, and the other. So I went to this place, I won't say the name, and as soon as I walked in, there was these two guys, and I knew I instantly caught their attention. One main reason is because when I walk into a place, 80% of the time, I'm probably going to be, if not the biggest person in the room, at least one of them. And so when you see a big guy or a big person walk in, you're naturally going to notice that person over a smaller person, unless the person is a super small person, like a little person. But I go and I walk in, and fucking happy to see you too, Jeff.
For real.
But when I walk into a place, I naturally get that, like, okay, they're just, whatever. But these two guys Nah, these two guys were those type of people that are generational, and they were taught. They were taught hate. So when I walked in, their whole tune changed, everything. And I have the wherewithal that they're over there. I'm not staring. I'm not antagonizing. You know, I'm not that type of person. So I go and I sit down, and one of the guys that's on the phone with whoever starts talking just loud enough to where I can hear him, and he's starting to throw the N-bomb around.
I remember this. Yeah, you told me the story.
And in my brain, I'm thinking to myself, this dude must be super insecure because I threatened them in some form or fashion because they have no business like feeling that way towards me because I haven't done anything to warrant them to do that, right? So I just made them feel uncomfortable, all this other stuff. Now, what I could have done if I wasn't educated and I just went off of raw emotions.
Wait, time out real quick. I have a question.
Yeah.
Any idea how many teeth he had?
Oh, I have no idea.
Right,
they looked at a full set. One of the dudes actually had a great smile. He was handsome as fuck.
Huh.
But if I didn't have the education and the wherewithal and just went off of straight emotions, because don't get me wrong, I was irritated. But if I would have went straight off of emotions, I would have ended up becoming exactly what they already think of me. Which when black people or anybody of different race like blows up and wants to get physical right away, they already think that about you. So all you're doing is justifying how they're already thinking. So what I did was I have the wherewithal to know these motherfuckers was taught something else.
Right.
They were just taught different, and I'm not even going to waste my time dealing with it. So you just shut them out, and then it pisses them off more.
Right.
Because they want a reaction from you. Because if they don't get a reaction, guess what? They have to look at themselves and be like, oh, I'm the fucking problem.
Right.
Yeah, you're the fucking problem. I came in here for a drink, dog. You know what I mean? I didn't come in here to get looked at by you. We can have a conversation. I don't even know you. But I like your bike outside.
Jeff just said, still waiting on some of them edibles that will knock me out of my ass.
Yes.
That's funny you said that. Wasn't it like 3 days ago you said you needed some monkeys?
Yes.
And I don't mean that in a racial manner.
No. What I said was that I need some guinea pigs.
Guinea pigs. All right.
And so yes, it's so funny that you mentioned that because I'm experimenting again and making candies and protein shakes and kind of the same thing, cookies and
we all got derailed for one reason or another. Long story short, we all got derailed, and I ended up moving into a new house, and the garage wasn't finished, so I decided I'm gonna insulate and sheetrock the fucker and paint the fucker. And instead of hiring professionals to do everything, we had some friends that knew what they were doing help. And it took a lot longer than it should have, took some more money than it should have. So it took us a lot longer to get back in the saddle.
Not that we're not grateful for the people that did help.
Oh, not at all. I love it.
Because they did a great job.
It looks like it was done by people that knew what the fuck they were doing.
Yeah.
So it does look great. And very thankful and very appreciative. But Duane's had some stuff come up in his life because of this COVID thing. We've all been derailed quite a bit.
Yeah, super derailed. The last 5 months, I think we all can say we've all been messed with for the last 5 months. But even before that, just life happens sometimes, man.
Yeah.
And you want to be consistent, and you want to not only for the purpose of a podcast, but you want to be consistent for the people that do follow.
Excuse me.
And things like that. So. Apologies, but life happens sometimes, and there at one time there was like 6 or 7 of us involved in this, and
Jeff knows he's been watching. For
and Jeff. So and when you have that many people, you definitely know a lot of life clashing is going to happen, and things change, but. Shit happens, just like you said, but we back in the building.
Some bedheading and some headbutting.
And so I'm going to have my podcast back up and running. Now I guess I have 2 of them. I have the D Podcast Experience, which I got to get in there and fuck around with too. And then we have this one, but then I have the D Johnson on my Twitch that I upload to YouTube as well. So that's going to be more frequent. This is going to be more frequent. And not only just this.
And we've got some fresh faces getting involved, too.
We got fresh faces, say that 3 times fast, getting involved. But we're also going to be probably filming maybe even outside sometimes.
Yeah.
Every
We do
once in a
remote-
while because there's a lot of shit to move.
We can do some remote location.
But we can do some remote
stuff.
location stuff. There's just a lot of things that we just got to we are brainstorming with, and so. But thank you, Jeff, for stopping back in, man. That's fucking badass, bro. You still playing that pirate ship game? I think last time I watched. He was playing a pirate ship game where you go to different islands and dig for gold and shit.
That's not Jeff.
Oh, who's that?
That's fuck my life. I was just watching him the other day.
I'll have to come take a trip. I'm buying a house in Washington. Where?
Where? What? Oh, he did play that. Okay.
Okay, I thought it was Jeff because I used to watch his channel and he was. That's
Why
awesome.
can't I think of it? I was just in his channel the other day, just showing him some love.
You know who I watched the other day? Ben Comedy, bro.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, him and his girl are fucking crazy.
Clarkston on the Idaho-Washington border. All right, that's what's up.
That's awesome, man. You'll be a little closer. No, there was this guy named Ben Comedy is his Twitch channel. Go check him out if you don't know who he is.
I think Jeff knows.
Yeah, I think Jeff, you might know. He's also participated quite a bit in what is it called? The Discord.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool, and I got to figure that shit out too. But
I got to get back into that.
So we can actually get some different shit, but we want to get guests and all that kind of shit too. But anyway, so yeah, we're getting back in the swing of things, man. And shit, thanks for the support. That shit is badass.
Yes, I think Ben does play Sea of Thrives. Ben Comedy does all kinds of things.
Yes.
He does cooking. He does comedy.
Cooking. Him and his wife do the cooking thing, and then he does. He's also done.
He plays a lot of different games.
Some stand-up shit because he's a comic.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people, that's a whole nother realm that's suffering right now. Are stand-up comics, dude. They're doing outside shows. They're doing drive-ins. Bert Kreischer. Is doing a tour right now where they're doing drive-ins. They're setting up a big-ass white sheet. And they're doing drive-in comedy shows, and it's super weird. It's super weird. I haven't stopped by his stream in a long time.
Oh my God, Steel Eye, dude.
You should, huh?
Steel Eye is the one that's always doing the pirate thing.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. I'm looking at the fucking screen. He's our top donator of all time. So he's already on our. I'm an idiot. I'm not used to this, man.
I know. And if you notice, our screen has changed a little bit, which I actually like it. I like how it looks right now. But there's definitely going to be some reformatting and shit like that going on. But yeah, this whole experience. Speaking of COVID, this whole 5 months has opened my eyes to a lot of things, man. Like I said, over the last 5 months, 6 months, I really said, fuck it, don't be a dumbass, don't be uneducated, and start studying politics at least a little bit. No one says that, don't run for governor or some shit, but at least understand the system and how it goes and how it works. So if you are bitching about something, at least you have the wherewithal to understand why you're bitching about it. And so that's what I've been diving into. And also with my confidant across the table from me, speaking of music and COVID and all that kind
Duane
of stuff.
2020.
Hey! I'm also getting back into my music. I have about 42 songs written. Out of those 42, probably 3 are dope.
Shut the fuck up.
But I'm going to start getting into recording as well, and I'm thinking about starting a YouTube channel for my music to do live performances and stuff. And I don't know, I'm just tossing the idea around and stuff. But so yeah, this last 5 months has really made me think about what I want to do in life for real. Not that 42 is old by any means, but 42 is 42.
But I thought we were going to put our ages on this show.
No. Well, I'm just saying it for me to hold my own self accountable. Like, there's a lot of things that I had planned to do in life. By the time I was 42, I had this vision, right? And I think this goes back to ego and pride. We have, you see that yawn, folks?
Shut up, man.
He was like, oh, he's about to get some boring ass shit right here. He was like,
No,
this
no.
nigga, this ninja.
Stop
Look at that.
it.
Look, okay, so
Stop
look.
it.
So, when you have time on your hands, it forces you to do a few things. It forces you to take time and spend time with yourself, which isn't comfortable for a lot of people.
Nothing you can't do without a bottle of Jergens.
But what it did for me personally, because we're going to be transparent, and that's another thing, which I'm transparent anyway, but I want to be even more transparent. We're all human, man, and we all want to do good in life, and we all have this this portrayance of what we want in life, right? And how we should live our lives and what we want in our lives. And a lot of it, when I took a good look at it, a lot of it came down to materialistic shit that didn't matter, man. And being one like myself who always wants to show love to people and all that, that's what I want to focus on. And me showing love to people is making music. Me showing love to people is being consistent on podcasts and being consistent with friends. And, maybe call instead of text every once in a while. There is something to be said still about the human voice and hearing reaction and things like that. You know what I mean? And so,
well, communication it's when people are reading the communication versus hearing the communication, it becomes up to the interpreter,
yes,
not the messenger.
Because they're receiving it how they want to.
Right.
And sometimes arguments will start over text when one person is like,
the person that wrote it never ever
and
meant
it's like,
for it
oh,
to.
No, you're taking it this way because
Right.
you can't hear inflection in voice, right? You don't have eye contact. You have to just interpret like, are you joking? Are you being,
Right.
So
That's a normal everyday thing now.
it's
how many people break up because they got into a fight over text messenger when the person that was like, because they didn't say good morning, I hope you have a good day. Instead, they went right into, well, can you do this for me, or I need you to do this.
Right.
If somebody says, I need you to do this, you're going to read it as like, this person's trying to dictate my life.
Right,
versus if they say, would you mind doing this for me?
Right.
They're going to be like, okay, they're asking me.
Yes.
And the reason they perceive it completely changes how they're going to respond back.
Yes.
It's ridiculous, man.
Yes.
Just because somebody doesn't word something right.
Right. It's
the
like
reader, like, and I am absolutely guilty. Absolutely guilty. I consider myself to be very eloquent.
Yes.
Well read, well mannered when
Right.
it comes to the English language.
Well versed. Yes.
And my significant other, she considers herself to be, I learned from the code of the streets.
Yep.
So she'll text something, and I will read it a completely different way than she meant for it to be delivered. And then she'll be like, I'm sorry I didn't say it the way that you wanted me to. I'm like, it's not about how I wanted you to.
Right.
It's about proper English for me.
Right.
But
or it's about just plain communication.
Right.
Like, we got to have communication.
Period.
Yeah. It's like when people put acronyms sometimes. Like, be right back, right? BRB.
BRB.
Like, I get those. I get that. But when some of them are getting crazy, bro. Some of them are like, you made an acronym for that? Like, going to the bathroom? There's an acronym.
Jeff said me and my fiance have pissed each other off while texting and reading it wrong.
Yes.
Hey, Jeff, when you guys decide to get married, you know that, like, I can officiate and DJ your wedding, right?
And I can do the photography.
Duane can do photography. He can sing. Bro, we got you.
We got you. If you want to check out some of my photography, it's Duane Johnson's Photography at Facebook and Instagram. Anyway, go ahead.
I just totally forgot.
Do you still have it to where if you put the
No, not yet. I got to redo.
You got to
redo
all that. Yeah. There's certain keystrokes or whatever.
Yeah. Right now, the only one I have is exclamation sub.
Yeah. Jeff says, "Oh shit, yeah, we're some multi-talented people, man. You know."
Jay said, "I'll set up everything."
Jay said, "I'll set up everything." Exactly.
Yeah.
He'll set up the lighting. Look, we're the full package over here, Jeff. We ain't messing around. Joey Diaz would say, "Who you think you're dealing with?"
If you want barbecue meat, smoked meat.
Yeah, you want
have
food.
JD
He
Corruption
can be
is
your
back as
caterer.
part of our crew. He
can be
out.
your caterer. Yeah. So, but yeah, like I was saying, in life, we all have to kind of reset. And I'm always somebody who does look at the glass half full and try to find silver linings. And the silver lining in this instance, for me personally, is over the last 5 months, man, is self-reflection. what do I want to do in life, man? Because I got to be honest, I started getting unhappy. And for me,
do I get a bundle deal? Well, we're going to hook you up, bro.
Yeah, of course you get a bundle deal, bro. Come on now. And I'll even throw in some fucking Eddies for everybody. You know what I'm saying? I'll throw in some edibles for everybody at the party. But anyway, I'm normally a person who's pretty optimistic and a happy person. And I was started getting to the point to where I was like, I don't want to go anywhere. I don't want to do anything. And it was the reason why is because of that energy exchange we were talking about earlier about the internet and just the negativity I would see on the internet, not about anything that had to personally do with me. I'm just talking about negative energy in general.
It's deflating.
I was like, oh my God, there's so much fucking hate. But that energy exchange of me seeing that made me feel like shit.
Yeah.
And
it's
so
deflating.
it's like what we were talking about. Yes. It's that thing we were talking about.
The more we scroll, the more we're like, oh.
It's like what we were talking about. I can give you good energy or I can give you bad energy. And I was getting that bad energy and it started fucking with me, man, because it started getting overwhelming. And then what I did anytime, and I suggest this to anybody, if you are in a rut and you're feeling down, go on YouTube and I just want you to look up, hey, make jokes, whatever you want. I want you to look up positive affirmation. Do me that favor. Positive affirmations. You think it's a joke. You think it's, oh, I don't need that. That's your ego talking. That means you need it the most, to be honest with you. Positive affirmations. I don't care how positive you are in this world. If you can wake up in the morning and tell yourself, you know what? You're going to have a great day because you deserve it. You work hard. Or look at yourself in the mirror and say, oh, man, you look good in that shirt today, boy. Instead of looking in the mirror and being like, damn, they're going to see that fucking roll. That's fucked up. No, put that shirt on and rock it. You know what I mean? But it's positive reinforcement. There's nothing wrong with it at all. So if you're in a rut, I feel I'd like to give that advice. My thing is I also turn to music. I started getting back into my writing. And like I said, 44, 45 songs later, 3 are good. I'm back.
Are you
feeling, fine.
When you're writing this stuff, are you like recording yourself singing melodies and lines and?
Well, I get the beat first, and then when I'm writing,
okay.
I'll hum it, but I'll record my humming.
That's what I'm.
Yeah.
I'm wondering.
And then I'll put words and stuff like that. Yeah, and that's how I put the song together. But
okay.
The main concept of the song comes from emotions. Some of the best music.
Because I know you as a vocalist, so when you say I'm writing, that means you're writing lyrics and you're singing the way you want it to go, and all the rest of it will be thrown in later.
Yeah.
So that's why I asked.
Yeah, it's I've always loved to write as far as like poetry. When I really want to get my point across and really
Positive
get my words across. For anybody who's been following me on Facebook for a while, I used to put motivational, inspirational things on there quite often,
right? And
especially directed towards women, only for the simple fact that that's another fucking that's another story for another day.
I was just taking a deep breath. I'm like,
yeah. No, the reason why it was directed more towards women was because I have more female friends than I do guy friends, probably 9 to 1. But because of that, I also hear the struggles of females. And I'm not talking about the ones that are just woe is me. I'm talking about the actual struggles of females, just like males. But my positive motivational things applied to everybody. But I used to do those on a more of a regular basis. And in the last 2 years, I haven't. And that's just how the negativity of the world, man, it gets into y'all, man. It's a real thing. Energy exchange is a real thing. It's a real thing. And even though I'm still not back to posting motivational things all the time, every once in a while I'll post something or post something to make you just think about your perspective, maybe, or friends hit me up. And they'll say, like, if I have 5 or 6 friends and they're going through things in their life, I feel I take it upon myself to be that friend and post something that people can relate to that they're going through right now, And there'll be a lot of people who be like, man, I needed to hear this right now. And and it goes back to what we were saying, B, where sometimes people just need to know someone cares about them, you know? You're appreciated, you know?
I posted a meme like that today.
Did you? Sometimes you just need to hear how much you mean to. Yeah, exactly. Boom. Bang, bang.
I just posted that like 2 hours ago. Because it's real.
It is a real thing. That's why humans can affect other humans so much. It's on purpose.
Now,
it's on purpose.
Real quick disclaimer: Duane and I are sitting in the same room. We are across from each other. If you hear me cough, it is not COVID. I have been tested.
He's been tested.
I have had the most severe case of bronchitis. The most severe sickness I have ever had in my entire life.
And we're 6 feet apart.
I'm coming out of it. Finally, I have been for the last 3 or 4 weeks, but. Seems like this stuff is never going away. I've never had bronchitis in my life. Don't ever get it. It sucks. They can't give you anything for it. They can't give you an antibiotic for it because it's...
Because, you know, there's people at home like, this dude keeps coughing. I don't know what's going on
with
him. I mean, he lost weight. What's going on? You sick, bro?
That's just because I can't go out and eat like I used to. That's real.
For our followers, telling you right now, go back and see a couple of our episodes on YouTube and see if I ain't lying. This dude's lost weight. I'm proud of you is all I'm saying.
Actually, it is intentional. I've been really consciously since this lockdown thing. I don't eat as much junk. I'm paying more attention to what I eat. I don't drink 5 cans of Rockstar every day.
I was gonna
sometimes it's 2
because I haven't got you a home warming gift is what they call it, I guess. I was going to get you a case of Rockstar, but I was like, fuck that.
No, I'm going to go to Safeway in a little bit, and when we take a break, we're going to take a dinner break and cut off and then come back because Brian and Waldo and JD are going to come over. But
hey.
I am going to go over to Safeway and get a case because they're 96 cents right now. Jeff said, so we're going to call him bitch the chicken place again for closing too damn early. Bro.
That shit was awesome.
I had to have a follow-up doctor's appointment last week, and the doctor's appointments are digital now, are virtual.
Yeah.
Because they don't want you coming into the actual clinic unless you've tested positive. And I tested positive a month ago, but because I haven't had a recent one, I wasn't allowed to go into the actual doctor's office.
Right.
So I went out to where they're testing just in case they wanted to be like, okay, your symptoms are still this bad. We need a doctor to see you. So I went early, and I went to Crispy Crunchy Chicken. And I got 4 chicken strips, and I got some jambalaya, and I was so excited to eat. I went and sat in the parking lot of the doctor's office so I could do my virtual visit on my phone. So if they said you need another COVID test, I'll be like, I'm in the parking lot.
Right.
Let's not waste any time. I want this, whatever it is, out of my body, and I want it out now.
You say I need another test. Well, knock, knock. Answer the door.
I haven't been into a church in a while, but I've been thinking about getting an exorcist to see if they can get rid of this bronchitis because I can't do it myself.
Right.
So I'm sitting there. See what happens when I get excited?
See? That's what happens. And I'm over here. I'm cool, y'all. Look, I'm cool.
So I'm sitting there eating. Yeah, you're not going to catch this.
No.
Eating my chicken, right? I get so distracted. The virtual visit, first of all, I was supposed to be on at like 3:45. They didn't connect me until 4:15. It's hot as shit in my car. I'm sitting in the parking lot. So I got through 2 of my chicken strips, and then the receptionist hits me up. We're going to start your virtual visit now. So I waited, and I didn't want to eat. I didn't want to do anything because I'm about to see doctor face-to-face through my phone.
Right.
Like Zoom doctor.
Oh, no.
So I didn't eat anything. And then 25, 30 minutes later, they come on. And the visit, she's asking me all of these questions. I'm explaining what's going on. I'm like, do I need to go get in line so I can get another COVID test? She goes, no, we're going to switch you from Mucinex to Sudafed. I'm like, are you kidding me?
I came here for this.
So I was so upset. I was so angry. And then I'm thinking I got to go get my prescriptions because they also refilled my inhaler, these cough pills. I hate inhalers, bro. This is the first time I've ever done anything like that in my life. I'm still not used to it. So all I'm thinking is I got to get to Safeway and get my prescriptions. So I race over there, and then I get home and I forget that my chicken and my jambalaya is in the car. Until 3 hours later, I started getting hungry. I'm like, wait a minute, what did I eat today?
Sucks.
Oh my God, my shit's in the car.
That sucks.
And I just grabbed it and threw it in the garbage because I am such a germaphobe that I know better.
Right.
I've had food poisoning before. I never want to have it again. So,
It's definitely not good.
no, I cried. I didn't even get to eat my biscuit.
God damn.
Those crispy, crunchy chicken blueberry biscuits. Man,
Couldn't even eat his biscuits.
man, if that place wasn't on the other side of town, I would go there right now. Right now.
I always forget where it's at, but I don't have
Hazeldale Chevron,
I don't have the best memory anyway. Oh, that's right.
out by the McDonald's and
Yep.
Applebee's.
Yep. That's
Guess the Blazers had a good game today.
man. Well, Damian Lillard had 51 points the other night. Is that Micah?
No, Joe Pearson.
Oh, Joe Pearson. Do you know who Micah is?
Which Micah?
She's from Hawaii, but she looks like a white girl, but
Okay.
she's from Hawaii. She's one of the biggest Blazer fans. Shout out to Micah. We used to play basketball together. She's a baller, bro. But she's rated as one of the like Blazers fans or whatever. She got to watch. She got to be one of the virtual. Have you watched a basketball game in the bubble? Their wall is a virtual
I've seen the
wall.
wall. Yeah, I've seen
Well,
that.
she was one of those people. She got to see it because they're live, and they get chosen every game, and she got to be chosen. But she gets she gets to go back in the locker room. She gets to she is diehard Blazer fan, like diehard. Like on her birthday, like Blazers will hit her up,
Wow.
like players, and be like, "Happy birthday, Micah! Thank you for supporting us."
Oh, that's dope.
She got pictures with everybody from Clyde Drexler, Terry Porter, Cliff Robinson to Damian Lillard to Damon Stoudemire to Rasheed Wallace. Bro, she has pictures with all of them. Players you forgot played for the squad. Practice squad players, coaches. Like, it's crazy. But she's a diehard fan. She's a diehard fan. That's why I was like, oh, is that Micah? Shout out to my Blazers. I love my Blazers. I'm a Blazers fan. Been a Blazers fan since Duckworth. You understand me? Before Duckworth. Since Walton. How many people remember Walton? Not a lot. But it depends on our target audience. Some of y'all ain't even old enough.
Jeff said, "Fuck, I haven't eaten Little Caesars I have eaten Little Caesars that sat out for 5 days, but germs can't grow on cardboard." That's true. Like when crispy crunchy chicken, all of their chicken is fresh. Like you can watch
Right.
them bread it and drop it in the fryer.
Right,
so
right.
I'm not touching that 3 hours later. No.
Jeff on that science shit. I like it.
Little Caesars, I'd probably eat it. But you know what? I couldn't. I couldn't eat Little Caesars 2 days later. I'm a pizza snob.
Yeah. I like pizza. Although, to be honest, that's another thing is I used to eat pizza all the goddamn because I love pizza. But when I do eat pizza, if I eat pizza, I like Pizza Hut because I like what is it called? The original pan crust.
Okay.
The pan crust is good because it's crunchy.
Right.
I don't like deep dish because it's just dough, and I don't like thin crust because it's just not enough substance, in my opinion. Right? The ratio.
I would.
The ratio of cheese and meat to dough is not right on a thin crust, bro. So I'm just saying.
Sometimes I love thin crust, man. Depending
it
on the mood.
depends on the pizza.
Yeah.
If it's it's at a homeboy's house, like DiGiorno or something, thin crust, okay. Because I don't really consider. I mean, it's
I will
pizza,
order a
but
thin crust from Megabyte once in a while, just because.
I've never had Megabite pizza.
It's Smokies. It's the same thing.
Oh, okay. Smokies used to have the best pepperoni though.
It's the same recipe, dude. Everything is the same.
It's just different name.
Well, the old owners, they got too old, so they were just gonna go out of business,
Yeah.
and
Smokies
employees
pizza.
decided to put their money together and buy it.
Oh, that's tight.
So that's Megabyte it's still Smokies. It's
Okay,
just,
so it's the same pizza. That's the only
Yeah.
reason why I haven't
Yeah,
gone
yeah.
there because I'm like they're gonna change it.
oh no, it's the same.
Oh, Smokies
Pizza and
pizza's dope.
JoJo's is exactly the same.
Listen.
It's spendier than most places,
Right.
but
Listen,
That's
but
worth
it's
it.
worth it. I pay it, right? If you for good food, I pay it. Listen, if
Jay said my head to the Rock. The Rock Pizzeria?
Oh, the Rock the Rock Pizza.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. It's
It is
the
good.
wood fireplace, whatever. Yeah. That is, I like the taste of it.
Damn
Like
it,
that.
now I'm hungry.
I know.
We got to break for dinner.
I gotta go downtown Vancouver anyway and come back. But yeah, it's for anybody that comes. What was I gonna? Yeah, for anybody that comes to Vancouver just to visit. I don't know why you would go to Portland, but cross the bridge, go to Smokey's Pizza, or well, no, what's it called now?
Megabyte.
Megabyte. Go to Megabyte Pizza. You'll be glad you did.
Or Pied Piper.
Or
Pied
Pied
Piper's still
Piper.
there.
Round Table used to have some good pizza.
We eat Round Table a lot, but
Round Table had some pretty good pizza. You know,
I try to support
oh,
local
you know
and
who
Pied
has some
Piper.
good pizza? Damn, you know it's serious when my voice gets deep like that.
I'm-
Oh, you know has some good pizza. You know who has some good pizza? Giuliano's.
I was gonna say that.
Oh, yo, over by Gainers Automotive up
Yeah.
on Mill Plain.
Yeah.
So and then there's Giuliano's, and then there's another one that ends like that, but it's not Giuliano's. It's Giuliano's and then Giovanni's or something. Giuliano's and something else that sounds like that. There's another pizza place, but it's by the same. So Giuliano's used to be 2 owners. One owner dipped and opened up his own, and that's that one. Same recipe and everything. It's a little bit different, but woo, Giuliano's pizza is dope. Giuliano's pizza is so dope. But you better have an appetite. Don't just come in there. Don't bring somebody who's not. Don't bring someone who's scared to eat, because that pizza is just stacked. But
That's what's up. Now I'm really hungry.
I know
I'm gonna go get something to eat.
he's gonna go get something to eat. I gotta go handle some business, but I'll be back. He'll be back, and
Yeah, I'm gonna say probably about an hour and a half.
yep, we will
Yeah.
be back.
It's
So
6:30
tune back
here
in.
now,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
we're gonna say 8 p.m.
8 p.m.
That'll be a good time.
So come on back, folks. It's good to be back, though. It's good to be back, B.
Oh man, it is. I'm still getting used to a lot of things. There's
I
a
know.
lot of new stuff in Twitch that I need
Yes.
to learn.
Yes.
A lot of new cool little
Yeah, that's
gadgets and
exciting.
toys. I haven't even started to scratch the surface. Obviously, there's a lot of stuff I need to do for the layout and the cameras and
Yeah,
all of
yeah.
this.
It's
There's a lot of
exciting,
work.
though. It's exciting learning
but
new shit, man.
Once
And everything
it's done-
looks dope. Everything looks dope. The pictures, we'll
except,
put up pictures.
Except for behind you, bro. It looks pretty fucking sloppy.
Yeah,
but
we're gonna listen.
I'll get this fixed.
We're gonna be all right, man. We're gonna be all right. We're back, and we do what we do. And thanks for following us, y'all. Thanks for support, Jeff. Thank you, man. It was awesome seeing I would say a familiar face, but it was awesome seeing a familiar name.
Yeah, if we could get Jeff, Steel Eye, and Ben at the same time,
Yes.
it'd be like we never
it'd
left.
be like old times, man. Get on, and we'll figure out
You-
Discord. We'll get Discord going.
You were about to say something about pictures. Who put up pictures?
Oh, yes. On the Instagram page of FunkShop, we'll have pictures of how everything looks now. And,
Oh yeah, we can do that.
you know, just the comparisons between what the studios used
Yeah.
to look like to now.
Or
Maybe
the
even,
Facebook page.
maybe even a little tour of the little break area we have over here. So if you put food in the closet over there, it doesn't get eaten. It's yours.
Yeah.
You don't have to put your name on it. But if I'm hungry, you know, I'll. It's better for ask for forgiveness than it is permission. So if you put something in there and it's gone, I apologize. No, I'm kidding. I'm not gonna eat your food. 9 times out of 10, I can't eat it any goddamn way. So anyway, y'all, we'll be back.
Yes, sooner than later. We'll be back. Hour and a half.
Love y'all.
That's my estimate.
Love yourself so we can love others.
Yes, sir. Adios.